Ayy, okay, cruising the eye. Bad little bitch, giving me face. Looked in the mirror, I got what it takes. Look out for the fam, make sure that they straight. I told ya I got ya, this ain't for the fame. Told ya I can't love her, these hoes are the same. These hoes are the same. Why you wanna keep me alone? I know. Why you keep blowing my phone? I know. Doing things I told you don't.
Welcome to the first official episode of the Hoops Unfiltered Podcast. I'm one of your hosts. I go by Zai, but as you can see, my Twitch name right there, Zai5. Y'all can follow me on Twitch for Zai5. See some 2K content, whatever. All right, y'all go ahead, introduce yourselves, man, to chat.
Yo, what's up, chat? You feel me? My name is Shaun, aka Shaun the Dawn. You know the vibes.
What's good with y'all boys, man? Brandon Strings up here on Twitch, man.
Brandon Strings. Brandon, what you streaming, baby? Talk to us.
We streaming all types of content, man. All types of content.
I love it. Right, Shaun, any content you want to let your people know about?
You feel me? New album coming very soon. Y'all tune in, man. Y'all tune in.
Absolutely.
Shaun the Dawn on Apple Music.
Absolutely. So yeah, if y'all love the debates, the topics, with everything going on, please feel free to go ahead and follow us on our platforms, y'all. Anyway, without further ado, let's go ahead and get to the topic for today. So for the topic of today, we are talking about who is the current best player in the NBA. All right, we know the NBA season tip-off, I think, is the 21st. It starts next season. So we just trying to figure out who is the best NBA player going into the next season. So let's just go ahead and air it out now, man. What are y'all thoughts? Who do y'all think is the best NBA player right now? Before we even get into why, just go ahead and name drop.
Nikola Jokic. Word.
Okay, that's
Babyface assassin.
That's a very safe answer. Babyface assassin, Steph Curry.
You know who that is. Man.
Any 36, Shaun?
He 36. He's still playing like he's 25 though. Let's get it.
Man, I'm sleep. He's playing like he's 30. Man, shoot. All right, so what we're going to go ahead and get to is, why do y'all feel like that's y'all best player? Because for me personally, I'm going to tell you who the best player in the league right now is, and I'm going to get hate for it, but that's okay, y'all. The best player in the league right now is Anthony Edwards. It's Anthony Edwards. It is Anthony Edwards. And people aren't ready to have that conversation, but guess what? That's what I'm here for. I'm ready to have that conversation, y'all. So I'm going to go ahead. Let's go ahead. Like I said, let's start off to why we think our player is the best player in the league. Let's go ahead and start off with Shaun. Shaun, why do you feel like Steph Curry at the age of 36 is the best player in the league currently?
Okay. Steph Curry, right? He's 36, right? He's still playing like he's 25. But anyway.
Okay.
You feel me? He's showing no signs of slowing down. Like, for instance, I mean, the Olympic run, we've seen that. You feel me? He literally carried them to the Olympic one.
Yep.
They needed every bit of Steph Curry. He's showing no signs of slowing down. I mean, just his supporting cast, you feel me? But other than that, he's still showing no signs of slowing down. He averaged, 26 last season? 26, 4, and 5? I mean, he's showing no signs. Still the best shooter ever, you feel me? I don't got to say no more.
Okay. We'll get to that in a second.
Okay.
Brandon Streams. Tell me why. And it's a very safe answer, by the way. But tell me why Nikola Jokic is the best player in the NBA.
Facts. Hey, man. I think 2022, we seen them get it done. Seen them get a ring against the best bigs. Played Bam in the finals. Played AD. Played the Timberwolves. I mean, like, what more comp do you need? That's the best bigs right there. And then this year, it's a Cat, Nas Reed, and Rudy. Took him to 7 games. That's enough.
Oh, I know Jokic did it by himself. Okay, I know Jokic did it by himself, but okay.
Right.
That was enough right there. You can't do it to him. And then with Steph, it's just like you can triple team Steph, you can double team Steph. You think you can double Jokic? I don't think so.
That's the impact.
Okay, so I'm gonna tell you why you can't double Jokic in a second. But But before I get into that, let me explain to y'all why I think Anthony Edwards is the best player in the league. Now, I know y'all probably in the chat, comments, whatever, going like, Anthony Edwards, bro? Yes. And I'm going to tell you why, right? So, when you think about the best player of the league, you typically think about the face of the league, right? In the 80s, it was Magic and Bird. Those were considered the best players. You could throw in the Kareems or whoever, but those were considered the best players. The 90s. We looking at Jordan. Jordan was considered the best player in his era, the best player of the decade. The 2000s, you're looking at Shaq and you're looking at Kobe. And then two, for my real ones, he's more of an anomaly. You're looking at Tim Duncan. That's the best player of the league. But obviously, Kobe was the face of the league because he was considered the best player of the league, right? He was the most marketable. 2010s, you're looking at LeBron James, best player of the league. And now in the 2020s, obviously, we're still going on, but we're finding out who that guy is. Now, I'm going to go ahead and tell you, I think it's Anthony Edwards, and I'm going to tell you why. 23 years old, he's a two-way player, and he knocked out Jokic in the Western Conference semifinals. The defending champs with one of the best starting fives in the NBA. He knocked them out. So I'm going to tell you now, at the age of 23, the athleticism, the shooting ability, efficiency could be better, and then just the tenacity on defense, I absolutely believe that Anthony Edwards is going to be the best player coming into this season. And he showed y'all that last season because y'all were sleeping on him. He's not going to take that no more. He's not going to take that anymore. But y'all, let's go ahead and get to our topics, man. For the first topic, I got a question for y'all, man. Let's just go ahead and start off with a question. All right. My question for y'all is, and y'all not gonna like this, okay? Should the best player in the NBA, should he be able to play both sides of the court? Should he be a two-way player? More specifically, should he be an above average defender? Let's go ahead and start. Let's go ahead and start off with you, Shaun. And two, I want you to consider when you answer this question, I want you to consider your guy. And your guy has never really been considered a defensive player, and maybe during his MVP years when he led the league in steals, but there's definitely been a regression in defensive performance. So you go ahead and think about your guy as you answer that question.
I feel like Steph Curry, he do hold his own defense though, you feel me? But sometimes the offense could be that good that like the defense could be bare minimum. That's what I feel like. So, to answer your question,
About this.
I don't know. It's more so like yes and no, but I'm gonna go with no. I'm gonna go with no.
Okay, so just for clarity, the best player in the NBA does not have to be able to be a good defender.
Nah.
Okay. Brandon?
I feel that. Yeah, I'm gonna agree with Shaun a little bit. I don't think you gotta be a above average or even average defender. If you really like doing your thing on offense, you can just get 4 defensive guys around you and they can make up for your lack thereof. You feel me? So I mean, no, I don't think you gotta be a defensive player or nothing like that. Nah, you can be all offense and be the best player in the world for sure.
That's it?
That's it.
So wait. Okay. Before I even let me go ahead and answer my question, and then we're gonna have a little debate about this.
Talk to him.
The best player in the world absolutely has to play both sides of the court. Because at the end of the day, defense is a skill. And if there's a skill you lack that other people are be able to perform better than you at, as well as play good offense, absolutely, I can't put you in a discussion for best player in the world. Because why are we acting like there is not elite guys in the league who could play offense on a high clip and defense in a high clip? And Brandon, to answer your question, to talk about your response, if you are so reliant and dependable on other people to play defense for you, then does that not take away your individual value as a player? Because if that does not take Lexus, UNTTV, appreciate the follow, man. If that does not take away your individual value as a player, I don't know what does. So you're telling me we put Nikola Jokic, if we put him on a team like, let's say, I can't think of one of the lower defensive rating teams, but let's just say the Houston Rockets. Are you telling me that he's not going to be affected? Is he not going to be exploited? Him not having Aaron Gordon with him in the front court, is he not going to get exploited on defense like he's not already? Teams are already putting him in pick and rolls, knowing if they switch, that's an advantage they could take up on the perimeter, and he's too slow to guard a roll. So you're telling me that does not affect his individual player, his individual value as one of the best players in the league?
No, it does not. It does not affect their individual value, bro. Because, bro, you got to look at it like this. Now, hold on. Let me cook. Because, like, you can get cooked on defense. Straight get cooked on defense. Most guys get cooked on defense. Most guys aren't two-way guys. Feel me? So, like, feel me? Even your offense can, like, make up for that. If you're getting 30 on the other end, 30, 10, and 10 on the other end, what are we talking about? You don't need defense at that point.
Why are we getting 30, 10, and 10, though? That's what you're not considering. Why are we trying to neglect that the Nuggets have one of the best starting fives in the NBA? And I have evidence right here. Let's go ahead and look at the stats for a second, okay? Let's go ahead and look at the Nuggets for the 2023 to the 2024 season, okay? Let's go ahead and look at it. So, for the season, the top 5 highest points per game scores for the Nuggets last year was Nikola Jokic, averaging 26.4 points per game on amazing efficiency, 58%, which I've never said he's not a great offensive player, okay? But Jamal Murray averaged 21 points, 48%, almost 50% from the field, which is very efficient. Michael Porter Jr. averaged 17 points per game, shooting 48%. So we're talking about 3 guys right now, y'all. We're talking about 3 guys who's averaging over 17 points. And then Aaron Gordon is averaging 14 off of 56% from the field. So if you're telling me they can't double Jokic, they can't triple Jokic, they can't double Jokic, and they can't triple Jokic because Jokic is surrounded by shooters and slashing threats that he can dish it to. If you put Jokic on the Heat and Jimmy Butler gets hurt and Tyler Hero has one of his inefficient games, Jokic is going to get doubled and he's going to get tripled. And when he does get doubled and he does get tripled, his efficiency will drop. So not only is he going to get exploited on defense, because we know Jokic is not a good defensive player. I'm not saying he's a terrible defensive player, but we know he's not a good defensive player. Now his production on offense deteriorates as well because he doesn't have any offensive tools. He doesn't have offensive options to throw it to. That's why he doesn't get doubled or tripled as well. That's why in the Timberwolves playoffs, they matched up people like Nas Reed and Cat and Rudy. One-on-one, Jokic is unstoppable. But if you throw doubles and he's surrounded by a supporting cast that can't produce on offense, off ball, we're seeing a whole different Jokic. And I stand on that. I stand on that. So are we talking about individual play or are we talking about team play?
Man,
individual.
We talking about individual play. I get what you're saying, but like that argument can be made for anybody. Like you take Steph off the Warriors, Steph ain't putting up those Steph numbers without the Warrior system.
Bro,
it goes hand in hand. Now,
talk to him, Shaun. Just talk to him, Shaun.
Steph could perform like that with any team in the NBA.
Steph is not performing like that with any team, man. Like, it's not. He needs the Warrior system. He needed Clay. He needed Iggy. He needed Dre. He needed Steve Kerr. He needed everyone. It's the Warrior system.
Clay needed us.
Is that what we doing right now?
It's a wrap.
It's crazy. Like, so he tried to
on any other team. I don't think he gets those numbers. You put Jokic on the team, yes, to a certain extent, his offense may deteriorate.
For sure.
But I mean, you put Ant on a different team, it's gonna be a little shaky. Especially that team already like heavy guard play. Like, I get what you're saying, but it's like, bro, for the situation at hand that it is right now, Jokic is the best player in the world. the best offensive players in the world. Facts.
Okay.
Facts.
So I do have a question, and this just a slight question to kind of keep us on track, y'all. And this is my own personal question. This don't even have nothing to do with it has something to do with the topic, but it's not like a established topic. What qualities? Because to really like establish and to really determine who's the best player in the league, what qualities do y'all look for in the best player in the league to determine that? What qualities you looking for? It's like, okay, boom, 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 like that you use to value and determine like, okay, yeah, this guy is a great player. He might be the best. Go ahead, Shaun. What qualities do you look for?
Playmaking, IQ. Well, the same difference. Shooting. You feel me, Mr. Chef Curry? You feel me? We know what he's known for. I want to say decent defense. You don't have to have good defense. Decent. What else? Yeah, that's it.
Okay, so shooting ability,
Mm-hmm.
high IQ play, which includes the intangibles of IQ as well as playmaking.
But
average defense.
Yep.
Which, if you think Steph Curry was an average defender last year, defensive rating won't great. And that's it. So those 4 qualities: IQ, playmaking, shooting ability, and decent defense.
Yeah, but it gotta be like a good margin, though. You feel me? You gotta be able to really shoot the lights out. You feel me? Indeed.
So we're defining the best player by how well they can shoot the ball. Are we talking about like jump shooting, like, or
That's
are we talking about just
shot
production?
Ridiculous.
Huh?
Production.
So we're just talking about
Shot
production.
creating.
We're just talking about production. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So those qualities. Okay, Brandon, go ahead. Oh man, I'm not ready for this.
IQ,
Okay.
defensively and offensively, you're gonna need IQ. Athleticism, which is crazy because I think Jokic is the best player in the world and he's not athletic. I feel like if you're the best player in the world, athleticism for sure, IQ for sure, the way you score the ball, feel like how you impact others. Like, do you make the team better? Are you a cancer to the team because of your scoring ability? Because your scoring ability open up for others?
I like that.
And sometimes your scoring ability can open up for others, and sometimes your scoring ability can take away from others.
Facts.
If you already have all-star perennial guys, and then you're going to need to split up the team or whatever the case may be. So how you mix, how well you can fit as well, just like intangibles like that, like how well you can fit. For sure. Like, you should be able to play on any team and play like you. If you're able to take a back seat on any team, you're not the best player in the world. So, yeah, for sure.
Backseat. Okay. Okay, I like that. So, what you saying athleticism? Jokic is your best player. That's insane. I ain't gonna let that slide. That's crazy, bro. That is crazy. Very crazy. All right. Anyway, these are qualities I look for, right? And I got a whole detailed list, y'all, okay? This is when I look for when we talk about the best player in the NBA, okay? I look at, first and foremost, scoring ability. How are those points being produced? So I'm very meticulous about production. How are you scoring? Are you a 3-level scorer? That's the most important thing. Can you shoot efficiently from the 3? Can you shoot efficiently from the mid-range, which is becoming a dead art? And can you get to the rim efficiently? Are you a driving threat that can open up for others? Kind of similar to what Brandon said. So that 3-level scoring ability, very important. Then the problem about everybody can play offense nowadays. So are you going to retain that defensive capability? Are you going to be a 2-way player? And that is very important because if you have so much offense in the league that is now starting to play 5 out, you're not getting saved by help defense all the time. These players are explosive. They're getting isolated on the block. They're getting isolated on the wing. They're getting isolated on the elbow. If you're not a good defensive player and teams are playing an offensive scheme of 5 out, how are you possibly going to get saved by your team on defense? You can't. So defensive capability matters as well. Another thing I'm going to say is I agree with Brandon, athleticism, which is crazy. You're using that for Jokic. I'm going to use that for Ant Edwards. He is extremely athletic, and I think he has the third highest jumping max vertical in the league. Extremely impressive. I think he has a 44 max inch vert. Incredible.
Sheesh.
Right? And the last three things I look at is how well do you fit in the system? One thing Brandon cooked on, but I don't think it applies to his player as much, is could I put you on any team and would you be able to produce similar numbers? Is there going to be a drop off? Of course, because you might be utilized differently with another team. But are you producing on a similar level, on a similar magnitude as you did on your previous teams, right? Because, and I love this guy. This is one of my favorite guys, Isaiah Thomas. Incredible offensive player. Very limited on defense. And when he was put in another system, now I don't think he was utilized correctly in the Cavs. But there was clearly a drop-off in production. Y'all can say because of injury or whatever. I don't think injury was a primary contributor. I do think he was put in the wrong system. So it does matter what system you're put in. And specifically, which y'all not going to talk about, but I'm going to go ahead and talk about, is how well can you play off ball. And I just can't imagine Jokic averaging 26 points in an off ball scheme. Now, Steph Curry, absolutely. Absolutely. I do think Steph can fit in darn near any system. Because he can play on ball if needed, and he can for sure play off ball. Jokic, I can't imagine Jokic sitting on the wing waiting for the ball. Or Jokic being like a cutting backdoor threat. I can't imagine that. Or coming off a curl screen, ready to pull up for a minute. I can't imagine that.
He doesn't need the veto.
But he wouldn't be able to fit in most systems that way if he can't play off ball. You know what I'm saying? I'm just gonna be real. And when he gets older and he's starting to regress offensively, that stuff's gonna matter, bro. But I digress. Okay, how well can someone fit in the system? Obviously, I'm going to talk about Anthony Edwards. Y'all saw him in USA, and y'all called him a ball-dominant guard. He went on that USA team filled with the best players to ever touch a basketball. Sit down, lock down, catch it off the wing, pump fake, pull up, mid-range, post fade. He played an off-ball role. He played a role player role. Him and Devin Booker really opened my eyes and like, man, these boys can ball without needing the ball in their hands. And that, to me, speaks volumes. Rather than you catching on the block. I'm sorry. Catching on the block. Catch top of the key. I'm sorry. I'm just going to be real with you. So, yes, how well do you fit in a system? Can you fit in any NBA team system? Last two things. Mentality. And y'all can look at me all y'all want. The intangibles matter, too. Mentality. What's your work ethic like? Are you riding horses? Or are you in the gym hooping? Which one are you doing? Because when I'm trying to figure, okay, Steph, are you golfing or are you in the gym hooping? No, stop. But seriously, like that work ethic, like that mentality, like I'm going to win. That man said this is gonna be the greatest Game 7 ever, and he didn't even perform that well, and they still won. He saw that his offensively he wasn't very efficient. He picked it up on defense, and that's where that defensive capability comes. Because when you do perform, you don't perform on offense. Where does the defense come? And Jokic, when he was turnover man that series, those first 4 games he was Mr. Turnover Man, he couldn't bring it back on defense.
Game 5 again with 40, all on Rudy head.
Okay, and what happened Game 7? What happened Game 7? Because that 40 piece, even though it was amazing, he did Rudy crazy. I remember we watched that. We watched that live, but guess what? That lack of defense took him home. Minnesota is a slashing team. Yeah, they can shoot the ball, but they get to the hole. Nas Reed will get to the hole. Cat will get physical with you, and you know Ant want to take off. You're our big man, bro. You're our big man. I think Aaron Gordon only 6'9". He can't do nothing with that. He can't play the whole game. You're our big man, bro. And we can't just let DeAndre Jordan play 48. We need you. We need you to pick it up defensively. So that mentality. And the last thing that y'all are probably no one's going to say, but I'm going to go ahead and say it. Marketability. The NBA is a business, y'all. If the NBA is a business, how marketable is this player? Are you marketable getting dunks on John Collins? Or are you marketable doing post hooks all game? I'm just saying, and that's no diss to Jokic game. He nice, but how marketable are you? And marketability at the end of the day is what's going to cause more people to watch. And then that's going to come to a player's value. More teams going to want them. I'm just saying it's not a big impact. The biggest impact is how well can you play basketball. Don't get me wrong. But marketability is definitely a slight impact. And when you look at all the best players of the league, like I mentioned, LeBron James, Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan, their games were very marketable. And guess what all three of them had in common? They were two-way players. I'm just saying. They all two-way players, baby. They all play some defense now. Maybe Bron don't know more, but he's so used to. Man.
He used to.
So what y'all think about that though, man? Y'all talk to me.
Shaun, I'm still standing on business, man. Mr. Chef Curry, you feel me? Still the best player.
Is that your final argument? Like, your argument is Steph Curry is just the best player?
You still haven't really told us why exactly Steph Curry is better than everyone else in the league.
Except this, Brandon. Except this. That's it. That's all he told us. That's the only reason.
That same shot.
I can't even believe it, bro.
Take people out the playoffs. I'm telling you. I'm just saying.
Take people out the playoffs.
Yeah, if he had a better supporting cast, Steph Curry would have won the finals. Indeed. Feel me?
Maybe if he had the vision of Jokic, he wouldn't get double the triple team. But that's just me, though.
Jokic could barely get off the ground first off. Second.
He doesn't need to, though. He doesn't need to.
Hey, he did when he got that dunk on Ant-Man. I ain't gonna lie. Ant-Man's 6'4", but whatever. He got up like about what, 12, 15 inches off the floor with that dunk? Like, little mini hoop dunk.
He gonna show y'all this season, though. I ain't tripping.
All right, y'all, but moving on to our next topic, though. Okay, second topic. Should the best player already have a championship? But more specifically, should the best player in the league have a good resume? So what do y'all think about that? We'll go ahead and start with you this time, Brandon.
The best player should definitely have a resume. You need to have at least some multiple All-Stars. I would like for you to have a first team. Like, you got to be All-NBA somewhere.
Yeah,
you got to have multiple All-Stars for sure. Your game can be a game. You don't got to like average 20, whatever your game is, whatever your game. And you should have done something in the playoffs.
Yeah.
If you don't got the team, you don't got the team. I can understand that. But you need to have done something. You need to have an incredible playoff run or incredible streak of something in order to be in some type of conversation. So, yeah, you don't got to have a chip, though. I don't think you got to have a chip, though. You need a resume, but I don't think you need to have a chip in order to be the best player in the world.
Okay.
Because it was a couple years Brown was the best player in the world. He ain't getting no ring. So, for me, word.
Facts.
Okay. Facts.
Okay, Shaun, go ahead.
Yeah, I agree with Brennan. I don't think you need a chip, but resume, yeah, definitely. I feel like you need to play great in the regular season.
Yeah.
At least a contender for MVP talks. What else? A couple All-Stars. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Okay. So what is quick question, what does a resume look like to y'all though? For example, okay, you said championships don't matter. I know Brandon said he would like them to win a couple MVPs. If not, or just make a deep playoff run. I can agree with that to an extent, but what if they don't have MVPs? Like, what are you judging off that resume? Like, what specific accolades do y'all look for?
I'm looking for the All-Stars, like the All-Star selections.
Okay, yeah.
And All NBA selections for sure. Because that just shows that you at least like top 25 or at least you're top in your position.
Okay.
And you gotta be that to be the best player in the world for sure. So All-Star selections and All NBA selections is typically like mainly what you're looking for. And a deep playoff run, something in the playoffs. Make some noise.
I agree.
But that's what I look for.
Okay. Shaun, you got anything to add on to that, or you agree with him?
Yeah, I mean, I agree, especially with the deep playoff run. Like, you got to be at least I mean, at least playing. I mean, they got the playing out for a reason. If you're not at least playing, I don't know what you're doing out there at that point.
Facts. Okay, so I agree with y'all a little bit. So here's my thing. I don't think accolades matter when considering who's the best player right now. Like, we talking about like for a career, like, okay, top 5 rankings of all time. Absolutely, like those accolades matter. But we talking about who the best player of the 2023-2024 season or this upcoming 2024 to 2025 season. I don't think accolades specific, like award accolades, matter. I do think I agree you have to have a good regular season performance. Your points per game have to be up there. You do need all NBA selection. I would say anything above. I think you could be second all NBA and still be the best player in the league. Just because it's like for example, if you say someone like, okay, like if you have 2 people who have a better seed than you, then it's like, okay, you know what I'm saying? Because they might be in your position, and so you have to be second all NBA selection, whatever. So I agree, all NBA selections, you need an all-star appearance for that. And this all has to happen within the season, right? Those are the accolades I look for. I definitely do look for playoff run because that's what also matters. And that's why that heavily impacts my answer with Anthony Edwards. They haven't been, and it was a disappointing loss to the Mavericks. Very disappointing. Very disappointing. I see you smiling, Brandon. It was a very disappointing loss. But at the same time, that was the first time the Timberwolves had a Western Conference Finals appearance since 2004 with KG. And that speaks volumes to me. So I do think you look at accolades, but you look at points per game, you look at defense rate, you're looking at the advanced metrics, man. And let me just go ahead and provide some stats for y'all, man. Okay. So we talk about my man Ant averaged. What he averaged? He averaged about, hold on, y'all. Let me go ahead and look. Forget actually what he averaged right now. The first thing I want to bring up is a defensive rating. So y'all look at guys like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander like he's one of the best two-way players in the league. I've seen a lot of people say Shai is the best two-way guard in the league. Let's just say that. Completely disagree. I think he's top 3. I think he might even be 2. Anthony Edwards actually has a higher defensive rating than him. And if we go look at those metrics, it's 109.5 to 109.9. And the lower is always the higher defensive rating. So when you look at stuff like that, that speaks volumes to me. And I do believe that I think the Timberwolves definitely got a better defensive team. But I think OKC has like great defenders as well. Like Jalen Williams, I think, is a great defender. They got Chet as an interior. I think Chet is probably right up there with Rudy as an interior defender. So they kind of have a similar cast defensively as the Timberwolves have. So when I look at that, I'm looking at points per game and I'm looking at production. And then 2, like y'all said, how far are we going in them playoffs? And Western Conference Finals is pretty far. That's all I'm saying. And if you look at the supporting cast, Cat did not perform. He really didn't perform. They had to rely on guys like Naz Reid. Is a bucket, by the way, but he for sure won't the second option. And then we look at that, like guys like Mike Conley. I mean, he's like, bro, he has regressed from his prime. You know what I'm saying? From the Memphis Grizzlies. You're looking at guys like Alexander Walker. I mean, these are not scorers right here. So a lot of that load was carried on Anthony Edwards as well as the defensive load. When that man said, I'm going to go guard Kyrie and put up buckets, that spoke something to me. But it didn't work out for him because you need a better supporting cast. So all I'm saying is we're not going to penalize my guy because he's trying to guard the best player and is responsible for the biggest workload. When you guys like Jokic who could play drop coverage and everybody else is just going to play the lanes for him, and he just got to worry about playing offense and getting some boards. I'm sorry, we're not going to play my guy like that. Or you got Klay Thompson switched on the best guard, taking that defensive load while we saving Steph Curry's energy for offense. Why is my guy penalized for that? Why is Anthony Edwards penalized for picking up the biggest assignment, which most people do, including Shai, and still is responsible for carrying the biggest load, especially if Cat is off?
That's a good point.
I'm just saying. Don't sleep on my man. Unless y'all got a good counter argument, don't sleep on my man.
I seen Ant, for my viewers at home, if you got Netflix, nobody wants to pay that subscription. But if you really want to tune into what I'm saying, Go get Netflix. Go get Starting Five.
Starting Five,
It's the clip of Ant. Ant's guarding Kyrie. He's checking him. Kyrie's giving him the business. I think midway through that series, tells McDaniels to pick up Kyrie. I don't know what I was talking about. It's not for me. I'm not at that level yet. Even he knew himself. So I don't no. He can be a two-way player, but nah, man. Everyone got their lapses. Everyone knows. Everyone picks and chooses their battles on defense. It's a certain things you can do and certain things you cannot do, and that goes for everybody.
No,
so to call him the best two-way guard over Shea,
absolutely,
a guy that's giving you 30,
absolutely,
Kobe type numbers, I don't think so.
Okay, whoa. First of all, Kyrie gives everybody 30. So let's not act like this is Jared Jack. Let's not act like this is just Jared Jack giving you 30. This ain't just Jared Jack. Kyrie's giving everybody 30. Secondly, Shea doesn't have to pick him up because he has the finish, and then they just picked up Caruso. You think Shea's picking up the biggest assignments?
Nah.
Absolutely not. So the fact that it shows, even though he could not, no, I don't think anybody can guard Kyrie for 4 quarters and then expect to be the number one scoring option. I don't think anybody in the league can do that. And that's why you're like, hey, you got to pick up Kyrie because he really underestimated guarding someone's like one of their best players as well as being able to produce. Now, if he had a good supporting cast, I absolutely think he could do that. If he had a viable second option who was getting 20 points, at least like probably 23, 24 points per game consistently, I absolutely think he could guard Kyrie because now he could take some breaks off of offense, but he doesn't have that luxury. So yes, that speaks to how good of a defender he is. Absolutely. That speaks, he's the best two-way guard in the league. Absolutely, because no one would have thought of doing that. No one's just guarding Kyrie and dropping 35 points.
He has a great mentality, man. I love the mentality. He has one of the best mentalities in the world for sure, but actually being a two-way player, absolutely not, man. Absolutely not.
I think it's still debatable.
He's a great two-way guard, but not the best two-way guard. Nah, it's safe for sure.
So how do you argue that though when the defensive ratings don't match up? It's in Ant's favor. How do you argue with numbers? That's what I'm trying to figure out. 109.5 to 109.9.
Okay.
How do you argue?
Wait,
that?
What was the numbers? What was the numbers?
Ant's defensive rating is 109.5. Shea's defensive rating is 109.9, and the lower it is the higher defensive rating you have.
Okay.
How do you argue that?
It sounds to me, if we're going off defensive rating, Shea is a slightly, Ant would be a slightly better defender than Shea.
Absolutely.
Ant would be a slightly better defender than Shea. However, I feel like the offensive gap is where Shea wins for sure. He just gave him 30. He just averaged 30. First team All-NBA. What are we talking about? That's crazy numbers, huh?
He was in top 5 MVP talks.
Okay, so the offensive gap is very. Wait, say that again, Shaun.
He was in top 5 MVP talks too.
Those are fan voting because if MVP races were accurate, Luka would have won MVP, and y'all gonna hear this right now from me. The man darn near averaged a triple-double, but because he's the 7th seed and because fans just don't get voter fatigue with Jokic won MVP. I'm sorry, Jokic. I'm just going to be real with you. All right. So the offensive gap is obviously bigger, and I'm going to tell you why. 2 reasons. First reason is Rudy is crowding the paint. Rudy is not a viable offensive option. So when you look at a slashing guard like Ant, who's getting majority of his points, either A, in the mid-range, or B, in the paint, do you not think that was drop off your scoring gap when you have guys like Chet and the Thunder that can space out and they can play 5 out when needed? Absolutely. The second thing I would say is let's look at the shots attempted. Ant attempted 19.7 shots and Shea attempted 19.8 shots, with Shea averaging one of the highest. Let me look at this right here.
I already know what this is.
SGA's 23%. 23% of SGA's total points were free throws. That's 23% of all his total points. So when you look at offensive gap, being able to get to the paint and get fouled versus Rudy crowding the paint and you have to pull up for a mid-range, if you don't think that's going to take away from your production on offense, I don't know what else would. And honestly, these are a lot more shot attempts by Shai because a lot of these shot attempts are not being registered because you're getting fouled. When you get fouled, that shot attempt don't count unless you like convert the and one. It don't count. So when 23% of your total points are free throws, and you're playing in a 5-out setting, surrounded by incredible shooters, you're gonna get to the paint, you're gonna get fouled, and you're gonna have more opportunity to score. I'm just saying.
Let me tell you, man.
Because what was that offensive gap in the playoffs, Brandon? Tell me that. What was Shai's offensive gap in the playoffs from Ants?
Playoffs. Playoffs, he was still giving them 30. He still averaged 30 in the playoffs.
30 and losing.
That's team, bro. That's team stuff.
No. I don't want to hear that. Because we talking about team, then let's talk about how Jokic can't play defense without his team.
Oh my God.
You can't just use that argument when it favors you. Let's talk about
Jokic's defense is championship level. Jokic's defense won him a championship. You can win a championship with Nikola Jokic as the first option. That's all I need. Nikola's out the conversation. Nikola's the best player. Facts. And it's not even the best guard. And it's not even the best two-way guard. Shai is giving him 30, and he's giving him 30, and he's a point guard. I have Chet on my team.
He's a 6'6" point guard. Stop it. Oh my God. Talking about a point guard. 6'6".
That gotta eat. J-Dub gotta eat. Dort gotta eat. All these guys gotta eat. They gotta get looks. I'm feeding them the ball, being a playmaker, and I'm also giving them 30.
Shai's feeding them the ball? Shai or Josh Giddey was feeding him the ball. Remind me, because I'm having a hard time. No, I'm having a hard time remembering. Because last time I checked, Shai's job was to go score and go ahead and dish the ball whenever he could. I thought Josh Giddey's job was to go ahead and facilitate the offense in regard to playmaking. So now Shai's a playmaker and he's an elite scorer. That's what we're saying?
Absolutely, that's what I'm saying.
So he's an elite playmaker and an elite scorer. And an elite defender.
I won't say elite playmaker. But he feeds his guys. Not at an elite level, but he feeds his guys. 37-6, 1.7 blocks, 1.3 steals. There is not a better two-way guard than that performing in the playoffs.
Absolutely.
I haven't seen.
Absolutely. It's Anthony Edwards. So when you look at a 6'6" guy guarding 6'2" to 6'3" point guards, I expect you to get 1.7 blocks. I expect you to get 1.3 steals. And I'm going to use that argument versus 6'4" shooting guard having to guard bigger offensive players. Absolutely. And let's not act like Ant and put Bradley Beal on clamps.
He did.
He got some nice defensive.
Oh, he got a couple stops? Okay.
He got a couple stops.
Anyway, y'all, moving on. So for our last point, let me go ahead and look at this right here. So for our last point, and we kind of already been talking about this, but let's go ahead and solidify our opinion about it. Should teammates matter? So I'm going to just go ahead and clarify that a little bit, kind of elaborate on that. When thinking about the best player, is your roster a reflection of how good you are? Can you be the best player and be on an HC team with a bad supporting cast? How we feel about that? Go ahead and start us off, Shaun. Let's hear more from you.
I feel like you do need a supporting cast. For instance, we seen Warriors versus Kings. I think it was in the play-in. This man, Klay Thompson.
Shout out Klay, man. We love Klay.
And he was one of the main reasons we lost. Had he played at least one like 5 for 10, we would have won that game.
But okay, does that make Curry a worse player though? You know what I'm saying?
Nah. He did everything he had to do, man.
Right.
He's like you say, he's 36, man. I'm just saying, like, come on now. We got Wiggins, Klay. Like, what y'all doing out there? Come on. So I feel like you do need a supporting cast.
100%. Okay.
Do teammates matter when talking about the best player in the world? Ah, man. It matters in the discussion. Yes, it matters in the discussion. You cannot bring a player up and what he did without his teammates. It matters in the discussion. But if you're just talking about rolling the ball out, you versus me, like who's better? No, it does not. It does not matter. I want to know about your production. I want to know about the player that you are and what you can bring like to the table. And that's all that really matters.
Okay.
I mean, goodness, like for LeBron, a lot of people don't believe that LeBron is the GOAT because of Jordan with the 6 rings and everything, right? But LeBron, it's the teammates that I had going into these battles versus the teammates that Jordan had going into these battles. So when you're talking about discussions of just overall, like you versus me, yeah, teammates matter. Teammates matter. But if you're just talking about who's the better basketball player, this guy or this guy, who's better at this, who's better at this, who's better at that, who's better at that, then no, teammates don't matter. Teammates don't matter.
Okay.
Teammates don't matter.
I agree with that. So I think teammates matter, and I think they don't. Like, okay. My example I'm going to throw out is what separates someone like Jimmy Butler or Victor Wembanyama than compared to, let's say, Jaylen Brown, or let's say even Nikola Jokic. With Nikola Jokic is better, but it's just like, if you're Jimmy Butler and you go deep in the playoff run with not a good roster. I mean, you got Gabe Vincent as one of your reliable scorers, and no knock off Gabe Vincent, he's tough. But these aren't all-star guys. These aren't well-known guys. These aren't very efficient, prolific scorers and regular season guys. I feel like, okay, does being able to produce at a high level like that, or even if you look at Wemby in a regular season, being able to produce at a high level like that without a good supporting cast, do y'all not feel like that boosts someone's value? Rather than you, like, for example, you Derek White, and you nice, but you have a great supporting cast, meaning you know that they're gonna get you open for shots, meaning they're such good scorers that you're getting open for shots. And if you're Derek White, you're having a bad defender on you. You're having the 3rd or 4th best defender on the team on you because they got to worry about Jason Tatum. They got to worry about Jaylen Brown. They got to worry about Drew Holiday, right? So it's like, if you're Derek White, you got the 4th worst defender on you. They don't really have a defensive scheme revolved around you because they're worried about the other 3 players or the other 2 players. Do you feel like that doesn't open you up more versus your Jimmy Butler and you're getting guarded by Giannis a couple possessions, you're getting guarded by Drew Holiday a couple possessions because you're the predominant scorer? So that's what I'm saying. That's my argument there, is like, how much do we consider teammates when we talk about who's the best player? Do we hold it against them more? Like, oh, well, you do got really good teammates, like someone like Jason Tatum. So it's like, of course, you're going to get good numbers. Of course, you're going to get 11 assists in the finals. You have a lot of reliable scorers versus, okay, you're Wemby. You're having 22-12. You have one of the best rookie seasons in the NBA. But someone might say you have one of the best rookie seasons in the NBA because you don't got no one else to pass it to. So, of course, you just going to shoot the ball. So how much does that really matter when we talk about that? What y'all think?
I feel like we hold it against them.
Yeah.
More than we hold it in a positive manner.
Yeah.
Like, if like with Steph and his rings, man, I always bring up Clay and KD and Dre and all the help he had to get the rings,
right?
Rather than, looking on the other side and saying, Bron, it was Kevin Love and friends. You know what I'm saying? It's not talked about. 2018, 2017, they would rather talk about all the help on the other side rather than the teammates for the lack thereof. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like we hold it against players rather than, help it in an argument. That's me.
Yeah, I hear that. You bring up a good point with the Warriors too, with the Steph Curry thing. They always bring up Clay, Iguodala. Shouldn't be finals MVP anyway, but it's all right.
Bro, boy.
Draymond, what I say, yeah, I agree.
Yeah, me personally, I don't think I don't think a player should be penalized by having good teammates, but I do think it should be acknowledged. And what I mean by that is, if I'm looking at Jimmy Butler and he's averaging 25 points in the playoffs, he's averaging 6 rebounds, and I'm not saying these are official stats, y'all. I'm just throwing y'all a hypothetical. He's averaging 6 rebounds and 4 assists, and he's shooting like, let's say, 47% from the field. And the defensive scheme is primarily revolved around him. Versus your Jaylen Brown, and yes, you're part of the defensive scheme. Coaches are telling their players how to guard you, and how we're gonna shut you down. But that same coaching staff also have to develop plans how to stop Jason Tatum. If KP is not injured, if he's healthy, there's no team that's saying, "Oh, we're gonna focus on these 3 guys." And if Porzingis score, hey man, it is what it is. No, we're developing a plan around KP. So they're developing a plan for him. They're developing a plan for Jason Tatum. Probably not Drew and probably not Derek White as much. So then there are 2 other players we're worrying about to develop a defensive scheme, which is obviously going to it's going to affect the quality of defense we can actually play on Jaylen Brown. So if you give me that hypothetical, and let's say Jaylen Brown, instead of 20, he averaged 27, 7, and 4 with a similar field goal percentage, I'm going to pick Jimmy Butler. Because if Jimmy Butler was put in that same position, and yes, it's a hypothetical, but to be the primary key focus on the defensive scheme, we're not making defensive schemes around Gabe Vincent before Jimmy Butler, or probably not even Bam for that too much of that manner, because Bam's offense is a little limited because his shooting ability. Not that he can't shoot, but he's not a strong shooter. We're primarily focusing on Jimmy Butler, as well as Jimmy Butler carrying one of the biggest defensive loads. I would have loved to throw Jimmy in this discussion, but he was quiet last season, so I can't do anything. This is 2020, 2021. I'd be talking about Jimmy Butler, but we're not. So that's a hypothetical I want to throw for y'all. I'm not going to penalize you if you have good teammates, but if you're producing on a similar level as someone with not a great roster, I'm going to pick that person who's not on a good roster versus someone who's supported by people who can help you take the load off. Hey, you don't have to score this play. JT got it. Hey, Drew gonna get a bucket. Hey, Derek White gonna get a bucket. You know what I'm saying? Jimmy Butler, go watch that finals game against the Lakers again. Look how exhausted that man was.
Iconic.
Butler is exhausted. Like, I'm telling you. So when I look at that, I look at Jokic, and I know I brought up the Nuggets numbers. I mean, even if we look at the Timberwolves, bro, I mean, they have it's literally Cat, Ant, and Nas Reed. And Nas Reed is just starting to kind of have a breakout season where he's getting noticed more. So I feel like you have more options if you're the Nuggets, especially offensively. And I do think that eased the load up offensively for you. Especially you don't got to worry about a big who just sitting in the paint like Rudy. Why did they trade Cat instead of Rudy? The world will never know. I think they would have survived on defense. I think Cat gets in a lot of foul trouble, but I think you get a backup big who can help Cat pick up the defensive load. When Cat's in foul trouble, we put him in for defense. But you know what? I digress. And then the Warriors, obviously, that don't apply to Curry. Curry does not have a good supporting cast. But Curry is 36 years old. Curry's offense is regressing very gradually. His defense is for sure regressing. And it's getting to the point, man, he's going to eventually start slowing down. I don't think this is Curry and Bron's league no more. I think we got to start looking at these younger guys, like the Shai Gilgeous-Alexanders, the Luka Doncic, and the Anthony Edwards. That's all I'm saying. But yeah, pulling up on that hour period. If y'all have any closing arguments or points y'all want to do, now is the time to do that. We'll go ahead and start with you, Shaun. Anything you wanted to say earlier, anything you want to refute, counter argue, go ahead. The floor is yours.
Warriors is 5-0 in the preseason. They're about to be 6-0 Friday. Steph Curry will show y'all he the best player in the world this upcoming season. Yeah, Warriors in the finals. Indeed.
Okay, nice. Brandon?
Warriors are not going to no finals, man.
Bro.
Playing at best. That's neither here nor there. That was
McNuggets.
That was something. Yeah.
Yeah, that was something. Anyways, man, me personally, I feel like Nikola the best player. for the performance that he put on these last 2 years. That was just too much for me. And I ain't even gonna lie, I'm gonna keep it real. You know what I'm saying, as we know, as y'all can see, Shaun's favorite team is the Warriors. With me, it's the Lakers. And I've seen this man bust my team 2 years in a row. So I feel some type of way. I do. I'm a little salty. And if it's not LeBron, it's got to be him. Because there's no way we got swept by 2 times in a row. 2 times. It's ridiculous. 2 times. But it's whatever, though. It's whatever.
Maybe 3 this year.
What you call it last year? A gentleman's sweep?
It's crazy work. It's crazy work. So, I mean,
crazy.
Yeah, I think Nicole are the best for sure. But, I mean, you got a lot of guys. You got Luka. You got Giannis. You got Shea. You got Embiid. You got Steph. You got Bron. You got Tate. You got Katie. You got AD. You got Ant. You got JB. It's a lot of them.
Yeah.
They can take off. Pretty much most of them got a pretty good supporting cast. So, I mean, we'll see what they do this year. But that's my take.
100%. Y'all know me, man. I'm still locked down on my pick, man. I still think Ant Edwards. I think last season, maybe last season wasn't enough to prove he's the best player, but I seen enough last season as well as in the Olympics. And just the training. Y'all looking at the preseason with him? Like, I think I'd have seen enough, so I'm like, okay, he's coming in this season with something to prove. He's coming in louder than he did last season. If y'all saw now, the NBA ESPN moved him into the top 10 rankings. He's actually ranked number 10 in the league right now. So he's actually ranked. Y'all can go ahead and look at that on your phone. He's actually ranked as he's ranked as the best shooting guard in the league right now. I know there was debate between him and Devin Booker, but right now he's ranked as the best shooting guard in the league. He just made it to number 10 in ESPN rankings. Obviously, I think he should be higher, but maybe he hasn't showed enough. Shea had an MVP season, so you can't be mad at it. If Ant is not the best player, it is 100% Luka Doncic. 100% Luka Doncic, because what we're not mentioning is Luka's supporting cast, bro, got to be one of the worst in the NBA. And we talking about you only got Kyrie Irving. PJ Washington can hoop. Come on. Dante Exum. Hey, man, I love Dante since the Jazz days, but come on.
Nice.
Like, now the big surprised me, Daniel Gafford and Derek Lively. That really surprised me. I've been following Gafford for a while. I've never seen him hoop like that. But sometimes you get in the right system. So I do think he has a great cast that just fits, that just works. But it's not like one of those casts like you're filled with all-stars like the Knicks or the Celtics. So if it wasn't Ant, if I had to pick someone for last season I thought was the best, it's Luka. But for this season's coming up, I think it's going to be Ant. So I'm going to solidify on that. Just that ability to play both sides of the court really speaks volume to me. And the man is just turned 23 years old. He's about to become swing this season. And that's all I got to say, man. We just got to wait and see. We just got to wait and see how he hoops. So,
why you didn't say Klay Thompson? When you mentioned the Mavs players.
Well, I was talking about last season specifically. Okay. But they do got a new addition. Now, I'm going to be real with you. This is a topic for another day. They're not making no finals run. I don't care if they just, that was a very lucky finals run. I don't even know how they beat the Clippers. But you know what? It's just because the Clippers organization might be cursed.
I don't even know how they beat the Thunder to keep it.
The Thunder's a young team. I didn't see the Thunder making it far anyway. The Clippers, no, I don't see how they beat the Clippers. But the Clippers organization just cursed. Obviously.
That make Kawhi's interesting.
Yes, news about that today. But yeah, y'all, we'll go ahead and cap off the stream like that. We appreciate anybody who's tuned in. Appreciate you for supporting. Again, this is episode 1 of our podcast. Y'all will be seeing the clips on TikTok. We have the links in our profile, so you can see the link for our TikTok as well as our YouTube. We'll have the full replay in case you missed anything. We'll have the past broadcasts here on Twitch. And for when that goes away, we'll have the full replay on YouTube in the edited version. So y'all be able to go ahead and tune into this episode whenever y'all want to. But again, we appreciate y'all tuning in. And this is Hoops Unfiltered. We signing out, baby. Appreciate y'all, man. And remember, most importantly, Jesus is Lord. God bless y'all. God bless y'all.
Thanks, man. Amen.
Yo, screw you, Shaun.
I tryna rock your boy like a Leah. Been a while since I ever seen ya. Diamonds is wood on my neck like a Fina. Can't leave the career of my Nina. Feeling like more, just missing my Gina. Just missing my